Hey, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Shane,
And I'm Erica.
and we're back with another deep dive. We always love digging into Kecia's blog, Kecia's tour life. It's like
Yeah.
she just takes us right on the road with her for all of her music and travel adventures.
Oh, absolutely. And this time around, she went to a neo soul candlelight concert.
Yeah, and not just once, but she went twice.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what caught my eye. What makes somebody go back to the same concert, especially if it wasn't all sunshine and roses the first time around.
Well, yeah, and Kecia did mention that she had some reservations initially, but she doesn't just say like, "Oh, it was better the second time." She really digs into what exactly changed for her to make that second experience better.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
Where was this concert? I'm already picturing like a really intimate space with a cool atmosphere.
It was at the Dayton Masonic Center, and from her descriptions and some of the photos, it looks like a very beautiful, ornate space.
Oh, wow. So not your typical concert venue.
No, not at all.
I can see how that would add a little extra something special before the music even starts.
Absolutely. And then you add in the candlelight, hundreds of flickering flames. And I'm sure there are those fake LED ones for safety, but still, it just sets a mood.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of mood, how was the music itself? I know Neo Soul Candlelight sounds amazing, but was the set list any good?
Well, she lists a ton of artists: Prince, Lauryn Hill, Alicia Keys, all the classics. But what really jumped out at me was when she mentioned Erykah Badu's Tyrone.
Oh, Chiron. Okay, interesting choice. That song's got like attitude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little playful. How did you say that worked in the candlelight setting?
Well, it's not just about the song choice. It's about how Keisha describes feeling the second time around. She talks about being more present and just letting the music wash over her.
So it wasn't that the set list changed. It was her approach that changed,
Yeah.
and that made it a totally different concert.
Exactly. And it gets to the heart of what Keisha's blog is all about. It's
Yeah.
sharing these events, but also sharing how we experience them.
Yeah, I mean, if we were just here listing off neo soul artists, that's Wikipedia, not a deep dive.
Right.
What Kecia gives us as context, even if you've never heard of Erykah Badu, you get a sense of why that song was powerful for her at that moment.
Absolutely.
So I guess the question now is, where do I find one of these candlelight things?
Well, that's where the Fever app comes in. Keisha mentions that that's how she found out about these events. Can you imagine just opening up an app and there's a candlelight concert featuring your favorite band?
Sign me up.
Right.
That sounds amazing.
And it sounds like they have a whole range of these candlelight concerts too, not just neo soul. She mentioned tribute to Queen and tribute to Whitney Houston.
Oh, man. Okay, so I need the practical details now. How long are these concerts? Is it assigned seating? Give me all the info.
Well, the concerts are about an hour long, perfect for date night or just a quick escape from reality.
Okay, so it's not like some 3-hour
Yeah.
epic.
No.
So an hour is perfect.
Yeah, and seating isn't assigned, but they do have these reserved areas at different price points. So if you're going with a group, you can all get a spot together.
Makes sense. Now, one more question I got to ask. Why is Kecia making a big deal about the doors closing promptly at showtime? Is that a little strict?
Well, think about it. No distractions once the concert starts. Everyone's present and focused on the music, and that really adds to the whole intimate vibe that she loved.
Yeah, that's true. It's like they're saying, leave the outside world at the door.
Yeah.
You're stepping into something special now.
Exactly, and that seems to be a big part of why Keisha's second experience was so powerful. It wasn't just the concert itself. It was about her being present in that moment without distractions.
Yeah, that's a great point. We could all use a little less distraction these days.
For sure.
Okay, so just to recap, we've got these candlelight concerts popping up all over the place thanks to the Fever app. They offer familiar music in this really intimate setting, enhanced by the candlelight. And what's really fascinating is Kecia's experience highlighting the importance of our own mindset, when we go to these things.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to dig into next. What specifically shifted for Kecia? How did she go from kind of to magical? I think that's where the real takeaways are.
All right, stay tuned.
Okay, so we know that the second time around something just clicked for Kecia. But what was it? I mean, the music was likely very similar. The venue didn't change.
Yeah, it's almost like she unlocked a secret level of enjoyment or something, and I need the cheat code.
Well, she talks about feeling more connected to the music the second time around. She mentions that she was less focused on documenting the experience, for social media and more focused on just being present.
Oh, yeah, I totally
Yeah.
get that. I've been there. You're at a concert and you're spending more time trying to get a good Instagram story than actually enjoying it.
It's so easy to do that, especially at these events that are, kind of designed to be visually stunning. But Kecia realized that by putting her phone away, she was able to have a deeper appreciation for the music.
It's like she had to remove the distraction of documenting it to actually experience it.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about her individual experience either. She talks about feeling a stronger sense of connection with the crowd the second time around.
Oh, really?
She mentions noticing how everyone was swaying to the music, singing along, just vibing together, and it created this shared energy that amplified the whole thing.
I love that it's like that feeling you get at a sporting event or a protest where everyone is united by a common emotion or purpose.
Absolutely. And that's something that's hard to replicate when you're constantly checking your phone or worried about getting the perfect photo.
Okay, so let's say I'm on a budget, but I also don't want to be stuck in the back row with a terrible view.
Right.
What do you recommend?
That's a great question and one that I'm sure a lot of listeners are wondering about. Kecia doesn't get into specifics with the pricing, but she does mention that even the non-reserved areas offer pretty decent views. She just recommends getting there early.
Okay, classic concert going tip. But it sounds like in this case, it's extra important, not just for a good view, but to get settled in and ready to embrace that whole no distractions vibe.
For sure. And remember, doors close promptly at showtime. No sneaking in late and disrupting the mood.
Got it. No mood breaking allowed.
Exactly.
So Kecia went to the Neo Soul Candlelight concert, but you mentioned that the Fever app has other themes. What else is out there?
Oh, there's tons of variety. Classical music, movies, soundtracks, tributes to specific artists. They even have a Candlelight, a tribute to Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh, I'm sold. I'm downloading that app right now.
Right.
But that's the beauty of this whole concept, right? It takes familiar music
Right.
and presents it in this whole new way.
It's about creating an experience that goes beyond just listening to the songs.
Right.
It's about the atmosphere, the visual element, that shared energy. It's a vibe.
It's a whole vibe. And it sounds like from Kecia's experience, it's a vibe worth revisiting, even if you weren't totally wowed the first time.
Totally. Sometimes all it takes is a little shift in perspective, a willingness to let go and just be present.
That's a powerful takeaway.
It is.
It's a reminder that we have a lot more control over our own experiences than we think.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, the connection that Kecia felt with the crowd the second time. Have you ever had that kind of experience at a concert or performance?
Oh, definitely. I remember seeing this small indie band play in this tiny packed club, and everyone was singing along, dancing, just completely lost in the music.
Oh, wow. I can practically feel that energy just from your description.
Mhm.
What do you think it was about that show that made it so special?
I think it was a combination of things. The band was amazing, the space was intimate, and everyone there was a genuine fan of their music, so it just felt like we were all part of something special.
It's like you were all speaking the same language, even if you didn't know each other's names.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of music. It transcends all those differences and creates a shared experience.
And that shared experience is what makes a concert or performance really memorable.
It really is. It's like Kecia's second visit to that Candlelight concert. The music, the venue, the set list, it was all the same, but what changed was her mindset and that connection she felt with the people around her.
Exactly, and that's what makes her story so inspiring.
It does.
It reminds us that we have more control over our experiences than we often realize.
So besides downloading the Fever app and checking out a Candlelight concert, what can our listeners do if they want to have that kind of experience?
That's a great question. I think the key takeaway from Kecia's story is just the importance of being present. Whether it's a concert, a dinner with friends, even a walk in the park, park the phone away. Silence those notifications and just allow yourself to be in the moment.
It's funny you say that because we get so caught up in documenting our lives sometimes that we forget to actually live them.
It's like we're so busy trying to create the perfect Instagram story that we miss the real story that's happening right in front of us.
And that real story, it might be messy, it might be imperfect, but it's ours.
Perfectly said. That's exactly the kind of experience that Kecia encourages us to embrace. It's not about perfection. It's about being open to the unexpected, the messy, the magical moments.
And sometimes those moments happen when we least expect them,
Uh-huh.
maybe even at a concert we've already seen.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah.
Full of surprises, second chances,
For sure.
opportunities to discover new meaning in things we thought we already knew.
So if you're feeling inspired to shake things up a bit and approach life with a little more wonder, we encourage you to check out Kecia's blog.
Oh, yeah. She's a constant source of inspiration.
She really is. It's funny, we started off talking about a concert, but now it feels like we're talking about something much bigger.
Yeah, I agree. Keisha's whole experience with these candlelight concerts, it's like a perfect example of how we approach life, you know? Are we open to new things? Are we really present?
It's like those profound life lessons. Sometimes they come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
Who knew a neo-soul candlelight concert could spark all this introspection?
It really shows how Kecia can find something extraordinary in the ordinary. You know, she takes this event that a lot of people might think is just a night out, and she turns it into this whole reflection on mindfulness being present and the power of shared experiences.
That's what makes her blog, Keisha's Tour Life, so great. It's not just about checking things off a list.
Hmm.
It's about what she takes away from those experiences.
She's not just a tourist, she's a storyteller.
She really is.
And she's inviting us all to come along on the journey, you know, see the world through her eyes and find those little moments of magic.
So to wrap things up, where can our listeners find Kecia and dive into her world of music travel and mindful exploration?
Well, you can find her blog at keishastourlife.com, and she's also super active on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search for Keisha's Tour Life and you'll find her.
Perfect. And we highly recommend everyone check out her blog and follow along on her adventures. You never know what kind of inspiration you might find.
And to all our listeners, we'll leave you with this. What experience in your life, big or small, was better the second time around? What changed for you?
Sometimes all it takes is just looking at things a little differently to unlock a whole new level of appreciation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep.